Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of my Let's Play World of Tanks here, and this did not go at all how I was originally planning to record this episode. I honestly was trying for the past day and a half of trying to record something good, and every time I tried to record, I just ended up having a horrible game or not usable footage, so on and so forth, and it just didn't work out. I mean, I went 1 in 15, I had horrible experiences, and then lo and behold, give it a little bit of a break, which is always a recommended thing if you're not having any luck. Just give it a little bit of break. I came back, in a couple hours after I did some stuff around the apartment, did some painting, got some stuff done for Flames of War, and then lo and behold, I had like 3 or 4 amazing games, and I sat there and was like, why didn't I record this? But luckily I do have the replays to show you. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. My original intention was to kind of run all my premiums and just, talk about my progress and status with getting the tanks I want and effective ways to make money, so on and so forth. But every time I ran a premium, I seemed to completely fail miserably and just, not do too well at all. And then I decided to take a break, come back, play my doubles, and lo and behold, magically, I had amazing games, the most amazing game ever. But anyway, enough chit-chat about that noise. Let's get on with it, shall we? So I will at least talk a little bit about the status of what I have, the amount of how I'm making money, and of course the interesting sale that just popped up for this weekend. We'll start off with the whole, how I'm making money quickly in this game in order to afford the tanks I want. And that primarily comes from playing a good chunk of games a day with the premium tanks. Because, well, for one, premium tanks get a bonus to their credit earning potential. And two, all the premium tanks are pretty good if they get their tier, or are at the top with very few other tier 8s. But, I mean, obviously, if you're playing against tier 8s, they can still hold their own pretty well. Needless to say, that's like a rough thing there, but if you really want to get down to it, the number one contributing factor to making credits in this game, and I mean, I've covered this back in episode, I think it was 25 and 26, somewhere in there. I went through the whole algorithm of it, but really it all boils down to damage. Whatever your total damage is for the game has a direct correlation to the credits you earn. There's other modifying factors to that, but nothing makes you credits beyond damage. Damage and damage alone is what earns credits. It also increases your efficiency, so the more damage you do, the better, because if you really want to get into it, there's a whole calculation for damage into efficiency, but we're worried about credits more than anything else, because efficiency is kind of a blah stat you don't want to mess with. Anywho, so, my credit earning potential is, it's, if you're doing over about 1,500 damage, over about 1,000 damage is a good rough estimate, is always a good thing. You want to always strive to do over your hit points worth of damage. So for this tank, it would obviously be doing over 1,450, I believe, yeah, 1,450. If I do over 1,450, then it's a good game. That's generally how I weigh it. If I do more damage than I have hit points, I'm going to be earning good potential credits, and I'm also going to be doing pretty well in terms of just, satisfying my stats for myself. So that's always a thing you should strive for. Now, in terms of modifiers to that credit earning potential, either the credits earned will go up or down based upon the type of tank, or not type of tank, but tier of the tank that you're doing damage to. So, if you're doing damage to tiers lower than you, that credit earning potential goes down by a small portion of a percentile. And then if you do damage to tiers higher than you, you gain more credits as a percentile or fraction of a percentile based upon the amount of tiers difference. So it can either go up or down. It's not, that noticeable, but it is effective. And I mean, if you're a tier 8 and a tier 10 match and you're only doing damage to tier 10s, you're going to earn a heck of a lot more than a tier 8 doing damage to in a tier 8 match to a bunch of tier 4 or 5s or 6s. So that's generally that's how it's going to work. But again, you also got to look at the fact if you're doing the equal amount of damage in one versus the other, you'll see a credit difference. I mean, obviously, if you're a tier 8, you're the only tier 8 and you're fighting tier 6s the whole time, you're obviously going to do a whole lot more damage and thus be able to earn more credits that way. But that's besides the point. As you can see, I snuck in a good kill shot there. But speaking of kills, seeing as I have 3 of them right now, I'm doing pretty high and mighty in this tank. Kills also give you a bonus to your credits. And there's also credits earned for damage dealt while for spotting as well. So I mean, you get little bonus modifiers there, and then there's a bonus modifier for winning, and the biggest bonus modifiers are obviously for running either a premium tank or a premium account. Those two stack. So if you do that, you're going to earn a lot of credits. And so seeing here as I got 4 kills, scored about 2,500 damage so far, I'm actually doing very well in terms of my credit earning potential. And then, of course, being a premium tank and on a premium account, I'm earning even more than that. I think it's 50% for a premium tank and 50% for a premium account. Could be wrong on those factors. I touch upon that in a previous episode, but that's what I'm really doing. I'm just trying to earn at least my health and damage. That is my goal. If I can do that, then I'm doing exactly what I need to do. So, otherwise, I mean, the Super Pershing is fantastic if you're looking for a moneymaker. I mean, beyond that, I'd say probably the T-34, the KV-5, and the Luva are great. And then you get down to the IS-6, it requires a little more finesse. And then beyond that, so on and so forth, it all really comes down to learning a lot about the tank. I can't really speak for the JT-88. I haven't played it, but I know it is very good and very effective at making credits. And I know one of my clanmates swears up and down by it. So I'm not going to disagree at all. I haven't played it, and I know for a fact that he has earned a good amount of credits with it just because of its sheer damage output. But needless to say, any of the premiums, when learned how to be effective, can make you a lot of credits. Now, the sink there would be if you're spending credits on expensive things such as either premium shells or premium consumables, and you burn those per round. That'll obviously decrease your income by a lot. And so you really want to try and do damage straight with just AP or HE, and you want to use tanks that are in a nice sweet spot. So like tier 5s seem to have a nice sweet spot, 6s are like the cap to that sweet spot, and you don't see another good potential earner until tier 8. Everything else is kind of just about average. Your good earners are 4s, or no, not 4s, 5s and 6s, and then 8 premiums, and sometimes 8 heavies. But otherwise, I mean, it really comes down to your amount of damage that you do. And as you see here, I was able to just choose and pick my targets. Those 2 T-34s in the beginning really kind of hung themselves out there for me to just start laying into. And when this thing reloads every 8 to 6 seconds, and it really can do pretty well. Or well, it would be 6 to 8 seconds, but you get what I mean. It can do very, very well. Now, I'm cruising out here. I would have thought some stuff was coming this way, but instead I didn't get the opportunity to go around the other way, which I probably should have. Could have gotten that IS-3 or the M6 there, but no big deal. Gonna come up here, and lo and behold, as soon as I do, the JT-88 somehow wound up all the way over there. I was hoping that I'd have to fight him over here. Fighting the JT-88 in the Super Pershing's not easy because the JT-88 can go right through you each and every time. So it's going to require a little bit of finesse to hit him. I do. I lit him on fire, but luckily he had a gold fire extinguisher, or a premium fire extinguisher. Otherwise, I would have got a lot of damage off on him. And my shot there missed, and he got killed before I could reload and fire again. So not a bad little match there. 2,500 damage overall. We'll have to go real quick and take a check and peek at the stats and see how much money that earned us, and see how close that got us to the IS-7. So for the T-34, or not even the T-34, my mistake, for the Super Pershing, the T-26 rather, we can see that I earned about 90,000 credits because of that. And it's basically out of all the damage I did, doing about the, I can't even see on here how much damage I did, 2,600 give or take. So yeah, 2,600 damage to 90,000 credits, not a bad little correlation there. So I'd say that it did, that, you know, if you want to make credits, that's exactly the way to go. And that's like what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make up the credits. You can see there on that screen cap, I was up to 4 point something mil. And yeah, I mean, I will have a status change, and I'll talk about that in the next little recording here that I do. But yeah, so I mean, a quick way is to just do straight damage in premium tanks, or in general, just doing a lot of damage is going to earn you credits more than getting kills. So that's why you should favor amount of damage over anything else. Yeah, the bonuses are nice, but your straight damage is going to earn you more credits. And if that's what you're doing, you're trying to earn the money for tanks, then that's exactly what you need to do. So let me go ahead and jump into another battle here, and we'll continue going on. Going from one moderately slow tank to an even slower beast, I'm bringing up the AT2 here because this was a pretty fantastic little game. Didn't even notice it till now, but a clanmate's actually in the Sherman on the other side. I don't even know how I missed that because usually I'm pretty good about observing that. But yeah, didn't even notice it. But yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that one. But yeah, anyway, the AT2 here, kind of slow lumbering beast, doesn't have the most powerful gun, but it has incredible sustained rate of fire, incredible armor from the front that has a few key weaknesses, and that is, of course, if you were to shoot the gun mantle right where the gun is, there's a little space below it, there's absolutely no armor there. You should be able to penetrate it almost every time. And then also the commander's cupola that sticks up right up on top. Those are the two weak spots from the front that's easy to hit if you were to aim and take your time. And of course, the ultimate way to defeat it, just use HE. The thing is very susceptible to HE for some odd reason, and I really don't know why. Probably because all the top surfaces are very low armored and all the front surfaces are heavily armored. So when HE hits it and goes directly down to one of the top surfaces, it's penetrating very little armor. So it's doing a lot of damage that way. So it's one way to balance out the tank, and really, really is one of the easiest ways to defeat it is to use HE over and over. Especially the KV-1 is probably the thing that gives us the most trouble. Now, with that said, Gilly actually had a great idea here, and that was to completely clear the cover that the team had on this other side by running over the wall. It's actually a really good strategy for scouts to do because that does not give these guys the cover that they're used to hiding behind. It really opens up that approach so that they cannot do too much. And that's something that we really should practice in higher tier matches, and I've noticed that a lot of times that people will sit and no one will shoot at them because they have that little wall that, yeah, even though one shot will break the wall down, no one wants to waste that shot and have to wait for the reload. So instead, if you have one quick scout run through there and crush the walls, that makes it so much easier in this map to deal with anyone who comes to this area on the left-hand side of the board. So, highly recommend going there if you have the opportunity. And in the meantime, I'm going to continually snipe at these guys. This tank is really good at just popping little shots here and there. With that 2.5 second reload, this thing can fire out real quick. It does have decent pin, and of course, obviously can crush things pretty hard with a little bit of damage there. It's nothing too fantastic, just 70 some odd. So, I mean, it's not like you're going to stand out and do some incredible large hit, but it's your sustained rate of fire and your quick ability to continually repeat and hit almost the exact same spot over and over. Even on the move, this thing is very accurate. And when you're pushing up against people like this, they're only going to see your front arc. They're going to have a tough time doing too much. So, like this guy, I already got him stuck. He's not going to be able to do too much. If he actually stayed next to me, he probably had a better chance to hit my turret. But now he's going to get around back that way. Probably going to lose track of him. Nope. Luckily, Gilly was behind me to back me up, but he's going to have to go back and head to base to stop that huge rush of people. We still have a huge chunk of people on our team, on their team that I have to deal with, but, you know, the coordination between me and Gilly is about the only thing we can rely on at the moment. I don't know what the priest or anything else is going to do. All I know is that I need to keep moving forward and head towards cap and eventually work my way through some of these guys. But the sustained rate of fire is definitely going to help me. This thing can actually dish out a lot of damage so that it can earn quite a bit of credits that way, touching back on the earlier topic I was discussing. And just be able to do stuff like that. And there you go, there's the M4, my clanmate that I didn't even know was in the match until now. But he isn't going to be too much of a problem so long as I avoid that M37 shell like I just did. And then a BT7 rolls up too to enjoy the surprise. Now I just got to finish off this Vickers behind me, and then take on every other tank that's surrounding me. A lot of tanks just sitting here next to me that I don't want to deal with if I can avoid it. Luckily, take him out, and I'm going to finish the 34 off. No, I'm not, because I get tracked. But as I actually was talking about earlier, I had mentioned... Ooh, we're on cap, so it's really going to come down to Gilly to reset it. As I mentioned before, I was able to conclude something, and that something was I ended up buying the IS-7. I figured I might as well go ahead and do it. Figured it was an option. might as well get to it. No reason not to, because otherwise I'm going to maybe forget about it, not get around to it. Ends up biting me back, because I'll explain to you exactly why I should have waited in the next part of the recording. But having to deal with these bunch of guys right here, I'm going to end up hopefully killing this M4. I already know the result, but the short answer is yes, I do end up killing the M4 here. Sadly, no can do with the bounces there. Eventually I work my way through, and there you go. 7 kills, 3 kills from Gilly. If he can just get that reset, we'd be great, but he has a Crusader behind him. Is he going to be able to do it? No. Sadly, the Crusader derps him, kills him off. We're left with me over here, not able to get anywhere but just get close to the cap. So yes, I ended up buying the IS-7. I ended up spending the $4 million. Probably the easiest way to get the tier 10s right now is to buy them while they're on sale. So I ended up pulling the trigger on that one, and I'm glad to say that I finally have the IS-7. One of the very few tanks that I absolutely claimed from like day one that I absolutely wanted to get. Its viability now in Clan Wars has slowly gone down just a bit, but hey, it was a personal accomplishment for me to get it, so I got it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the stats for this AT2 before we move on and discuss what's coming up this weekend. With a heartbreaking little loss there, the AT2 performed pretty admirably. Even though taking quite a few hits from all sides, it was still able to deflect quite a lot. I was able to kill off 7 different people, damaging another 2 on top of it. So not a bad little game at all. Maybe even a few more. I'd have to check those stats. But anyway, Steel Wall, Top Gun, 2,300 credits is not bad at all. Or 23,000 credits is not bad at all. So overall, pretty good game there. And I mean, that's just the strengths of the AT2 is being able to get in those situations and still come out on top. If it's trained up enough, you can turn that thing almost on a dime, and that's what it really needs to do, because, yeah, when people get to your sides, that's where the problem is. If you keep them to the front, you're A-okay. Sadly, though, couldn't pull it out, have to settle for a defeat, but a good one at that. I was able to finally start getting some good games with this tank here. And so we move on to the team score there. You see that I killed 12 people, did 1,200 damage. Or killed 7 people, did 1,200 damage, yeah. So not a bad little game. Sadly, was capped out by that medium and the Chiha. And then finally, the Crusader was able to join in at the last bout there. Couldn't get the game win. Gilly just couldn't reset it in time, but it happens. Go ahead and look at the detailed report there. We see that I actually damaged 9 people in total, killing 7. Fired 30 times, hitting 25 times, penetrating 22 of those 25 times. So not too shabby. Doing quite a bit of damage and sustaining close to 3,000, which in a tier 5 game is not as easy as you think. A lot of those tanks don't hit for much, especially when I was fighting majority of them were 4s and 3s. But overall, pretty successful game in my opinion. I still earned some good credits there. As you'll see there, I made 16,000 credits. But anyway, you know, gotta take some losses with some wins. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and move on to an interesting tier 5 game, which was actually the last game I ever played in my T-34 Chinese tank. I guess at this point I should probably warn y'all, this is going to be a pretty long episode. I still have another battle after this one. I might actually save that one, because that one is so good for another time. I might wrap it up with this one. We'll have to see what happens time-wise. But anywho, T-34, or the Type T-34 rather, absolutely the last game that I play in this tank, because this should finish it off. No longer have to play it. It was a very good tank. 57mm on this thing is fantastic. I cannot recommend a better little combination, because that thing has great penetration, great rate of fire, fantastic damage for its tier. Overall, there's absolutely no complaints about it whatsoever. Yeah, the armor's a little lacking, but what do you expect? It's a tier 5. You're not going to, you know, have a big derp cannon like the M4. So, oh wells. Anywho, so a little bit of a snipey tank action here while I talk about the Military Parade Weekend, or VE Day, depending on how you want to look at it. Basically, it's a gigantic sale to celebrate victory in Europe that World of Tanks is doing, and it's going to go off on Friday through Sunday. And then it pretty much, or Friday through Monday, I believe. But anywho, we're wrapping up on Sunday. Either or, enough details. You can look it up on the World of Tanks webpage. They're doing 5 times experience for your first victory of the day, so expect a lot of stressful games from me, because as you all know, my experience in 5 times weekends typically range from not getting a single win to getting absolutely terrible victories that are like 20 damage victories or something crazy silly like that. So we'll see what happens. Interestingly enough, tanks that are tier 9 and 8, 9 and 8, 9 and 7, oh yeah, tier 9 tanks and 7 SPGs get 2 times crew experience. And the interesting little bit about it here is tanks that are level 10 and SPGs that are level 8 get 3 times experience. So basically run every single tank you have over and over and over. As you see, the little sniping action there is able to pop from long range at people who were a little occupied, but I mean, sadly we had to sacrifice the artillery to get that guy. Can't really see him, there we go. But where was I? So yes, there's also a 50% credit boost for all non-premium tier 8 tanks. So that brings them up to be, I believe, very similar in credit earning potential as the premium tanks. So that's really nice that all the tier 8s are going to earn a lot more credits this weekend. So definitely burn through them the best that you can, because hey, there's no reason not to farm out some of the tier 8s that I'm working on. I might actually be doing that exclusively, just keep working down my line of tier 8s, trying to make some good cash. In addition to that, you're going to have a 750 bonus experience for every Confederate medal earned. So if you're good at getting Confederates, just damaging a lot of people, then that one's going to work out for you. Some discounts that are going to be applied here as I come up to this T50. Going to be 50% credit on discount on equipment. So if you're looking to buy some new equipment, now's the time to do it. 50% discount on gold and credits for all consumables. You get a 50% discount on garage slots. 50%, everything else is 50% discounts. I'm going to stop repeating that. So discount on crew vehicle training. So anytime that your crew has to level up to get into a new vehicle. Discount on crew skills retraining. So anytime that you want to swap any of your crew skills to something else. So if you leveled something up to 150%, you know that at that point you want to swap it to the brother-in-arms thing. That's exactly what you do it. And 50% discount on camo and emblems, so that's always cool. And of course, discounts on premiums. 30% discount on each and every tier 8 tank. So if you are missing any tier 8 tanks that you want to get, now's the time to do it. And of course, tier 6 SPGs are also considered as part of that sale. I'm sitting under here to avoid artillery fire. I know that we're severely outnumbered, so I decided to hop into this little hidey hole. I know it's very safe from artillery and potentially good for unleashing ambushes. Having to literally snake a shot in there to take out that T-28. Very excellent little snake shot there. Gonna continually hide in here because I don't want to have that artillery take me out. Basically, it's down to our platoon now in terms of our ability to take things out. I'm sitting here guarding base for the most part. We have our 2 M4s sitting down there at the bottom trying to guard that flank in case things come across. I should be able to out-damage most things. That KV-1 will give me problems. The rest I should be okay with, provided that I get the shot off before anyone else. Anyway, going back to the sales, there's also a 15% discount on all premium vehicles if you were to spend gold on them. So I might pick up the JT88 based on that one, because it's going to be on sale by 15%, but we'll see. That one's debatable. I don't think I need yet another tier 8, but we'll see about that one. I mean, it would be nice to have, but I don't need yet another tank in the garage. And of course a discount on 50% gold discount on a whole slew of vehicles. You have to go and look those up, but pretty much every tier 5 and below premium tank is a 50% gold discount. So a lot of good tanks in there if you're looking for one to pick up. Now, using this little cover to my advantage here, trying to pop people little bits here and there. The KV-1's being very brazen coming across the cap like that. Luckily, Gilly's back there, so he's going to be able to take care of him for me, because I'd struggle. So there you go, you see a hit get applied right there. I take a glancing hit and a frontal hit. Not much damage, though. We get the Martyr sitting there. He's just hanging out, though, so I'm going to be able to just whittle him away. Taking him out. T-40, of course, just damaging my track. He's not really doing a whole heck of a lot. Having to debate what to do about this T-46. I figure I'm going to go out and try and chase him down, because I know it's a 46 and a T-40 out here in base. That T-40 can potentially give me some trouble, but healing up my driver, gonna go and try and take out this 46, and there you go, smoked him. Now I just had this 40 to deal with. I believe, though, he is throwing HE, because look at the damage that he did to me, and it was very minuscule. So I'm gonna go ahead and push up on him, cheating it out a bit with my zoom mod there, thanks to Jimbo's. I don't really like it, but sometimes I do take advantage of it. I feel bad for it, but oh well. Until they ban it, might as well use it. So, bounce off that shell that he hit me with. Must have been nothing special because it just glanced right off the front. Now, I've leveled it up to 5 kills. I can potentially get a 6th for Top Gun if I try hard enough. And of course, we have our 2 teammates. We decide we're going to fan back out. Now that we've evened the odds back out in our favor, taking care of a bunch of tanks that were crushing towards us, we're going to go ahead and spread out. I'm going to go ahead and take the long way around. They'll take the tracks. We'll somehow meet in the center and see what happens. We have just artillery left, so nothing too fancy to deal with. I'm still have enough HP to not have to worry about too much. That priest was the only threat, and he appeared right there, right in front of our M4 there of Syraxis, so he takes him out with a nice little derp cannon shot. And then all that's left is a 2 tier 2 SPGs, so I'm not too worried about them one-shotting me. They do have the potential of it, but chances are I should be alright. But again, I don't want to press my luck too heavily. Trying to go, I would imagine that they're down in the J and K areas, but don't know for sure, so I'm going to have to kind of play it a little differently. Wait and see what happens. You're going to have to, have to race for it because we still have a Covenanter there that we need to deal with. And then, of course, there's the tank right there, the Bison. Gotta get in that shot there so I can get my 6th kill. Want that Top Gun, and lo and behold, I am actually able to get it just like that. Covenanter either held off or bounced. I don't remember which it was at the time. I did ask him kindly to hold off because, mostly because of his health, but also because, I wanted to get that Top Gun, I guess. This was one of those games where I was like, I'm so close, and I need this. It's been so long since I've done anything good. Coming off a really bad losing streak, first time in a while. So I venture off this way. I know the Bison's there, but you know what? We're stacking it up for team purposes because we have the Syraxis is so close to getting us not only crucial contribution, but what's it called? Brothers in Arms. So I'm gonna run up here, running with the Covenanter. We're gonna see if we can respot it. Syraxis does have an inside line. Covenanter can get to it if he can. I'm pulling off into the cap, gonna let them deal with it. If Syraxis can beat out that Covenanter, we get the Brothers in Arms. And lo and behold, I'm not gonna take the shot, even though I potentially could. There we go, he derps it out. We get Brothers in Arms, and we also get Crucial Contribution, just because we did a little bit of teamwork and communication there. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the stats and see what they look like. So I bid the Type T-34 a heartfelt farewell, as a very good game to end it on. As you can see, I ended up getting Top Gun, ended up getting Brothers in Arms, and Crucial Contribution. Because in the end, I ended up with 6 kills, the other 2 ended up with 3 kills each, so not too shabby at all. We did a lot of heavy lifting that game, we really made it work, and yeah, I mean, that choice to pull back to base at the right time basically saved the game. And then of course all the team luckily not being too healthy, and me being able to put in a few sniper shots and Gilly being able to take on that KV-1 really made all the difference in the world. We would have otherwise had some serious troubles there. We were able to take care of them, found that really good hiding spot, and was able to really snipe them out. So, 44,000 credits, close to 2,000 experience, not too shabby at all. Those medals, of course, being some pretty lofty medals. It's not very often that you get those, and it was a long, hard-fought game, and needless to say, it was a long time since I had a good game when I had this one. This was actually a couple days ago, but it's been a long week of bad games for me, and it happens. Just odds catch up to you that you're going to have a bunch of bad games, and you're going to have a bunch of good games, so I was just on a very bad game streak. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at the team score here, and we see that we all ended up doing pretty well. Syraxis there actually doing quite a bit of damage, more than anybody else. He was doing 1,500 damage, which is far and above, way more than I thought it would be, especially with the 3 kills he had. So he really put a hurting on quite a few different people beyond what we were able to see there. Of course, he was on a completely different area than I was, and after that little beginning portion, so he probably put a significant hurting on some of those bigger tanks out there. Thankfully, we were all able to pick it up, kill a bunch of dudes, and it worked out for the best for the team. We were able to pull out a win from what was sheer defeat when we had that huge outnumbering factor. So let's go ahead and take the detailed report there, and we see that, not too shabby at all. Hitting 13 out of my 16 shots, destroying 7, but damaging, I want to say that is 8 people. Of course, it's a very tiny screen, it's hard to see. And of course, detecting 1 person. So overall, not a bad little game. And as I was saying earlier, tier 5s and 6s are a sweet spot for credits. You can see here, I earned 39 after taxes, as opposed to the, 44 that I actually earned in-game. So tier 5s, when played very well, earn a large amount of credits. So if you're looking to make some credits, that's the way to go. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there, and I will show you this quick little teaser right here, just to get you guys interested into what's going to be happening next video, because it was actually my best game ever. So, I will show you guys that next week, or not next week, but next couple days. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of my Let's Play World of Tanks, and I will catch you in the next episode. See you guys.